favoritism. Everyone are like, oh, I don't have a favorite students. Trust me, they don't, but they do. So honestly, I need some shade. I hope that the lighting is good. I think it's all right. So today I'm going to share with you how to be confident for back to school season. I know it's summer, it might be a bit early, but back to school, before you know it, it's just gonna be rushing at you. So I believe that this is the right time to share these tips. Please guys, like, subscribe, comment on this video, and let me know what you want to see. And so the first tip that I am going to share with you is to get out of your comfort zone. Be comfortable outside of your comfort zone. You must be comfortable with discomfort because nothing good comes from your comfort zone. If you're on your bed rotting every single day, there's nothing you'll be able to get done. That dream body that you want to get, you won't be able to get it because you're more busy bed rotting than going outside and talking to people. And you're not going to meet those people that will give you those great connections that you're really looking forward to get. You won't have that nice day. You won't get enough exposure to the sun. You won't, you know what I mean? You won't have anything good if you're always hiding by yourself in your bed. You have to be comfortable with initiating conversations, especially right now. We live in a society where people want to be approached first. They want people to talk to them first. And if all of us are the same way, if all of us are waiting on who will communicate to the other before, we communicate to them, then that's a big problem, because then no conversations will take place. No one will talk to the next person, and we won't be socializing, we won't be communicating. And in the end of the day, we know that deep down we all suffer from not socializing, not interacting, not communicating with other people. Because in the end of the day, as human beings, communication is what we need. Like, we are social human beings. That's how we are built. That's how we survive in nature. So you need to find a tribe of people, and how to do that is to find comfort out of your comfort zone. So by interacting with people and initiating conversations. When approaching people, usually, like for most of us, it makes you a bit vulnerable, because you don't know how the other person might respond. You don't know if they want to have the conversation to start with. You might be sharing some information that you might be scared to share. And when you're communicating with new people at school or a new setting, just like don't tell them your entire life story, because you'll probably end up cringing, and they'll clock that, oh, this person is really insecure and they're trying to like communicate with me, but they don't know what to say, so they're just telling me my whole life story. Just start a conversation by being like, oh, hi, my name is Claudia, I'm studying this, are you on the same program? Do you live in the same place? Where do you live? Where did you come from? And do you work? Then, from there you can tell also if that person is like partaking in the conversation, and if the conversation is going to proceed more, and then you know how to dive in more and progress into getting to know them more and potentially making a new friend. Lastly, I'd also advise you to like be comfortable with, so I mentioned like you have to be comfortable with being out of your comfort zone. So even extracurricular activities, research what extracurricular activities and societies and clubs or whatever that are at your school. And if those activities and extracurriculars do resonate with you, then take part in those things, because that's where you're going to find people who relate with you. If someone likes football and you like football, you both are good at it, then that's immediately something to bond over, because you guys share the same interest and the same hobby. Likewise, if you're into fashion or media and you join a society a club or whatever, where other people share the same thing, you're more likely to find someone you relate to and make friends. So even though it's, you know, it's uncomfortable to go out of your way to meet these new people, take part in these clubs and stuff, that's the only way you're able to like radiate confidence and meet new people. How to be radiate confidence and be confident for back to school season is to actually be a very, very good student, which is not easy. Some of us are like naturally gifted academically, and we know how to like we know how to communicate, we know how to act in an academic setting, and some of us don't. But that is why we are here, and this is why you are getting ready for your back to school season and researching and watching information like this video. So first off, you must aim to always, like, as soon as your homework is given to you, just do it ASAP. Don't waste time, don't procrastinate, don't wait too long, because first off, the content, the homework will always be related. Your homework, a good 90% of the time, it is going to be linked to the content that you just learned at school that day. So if it's better to do it immediately when the content is still fresh in your mind than waiting like 2 to 3 days after, when you forget the content and then you'll be procrastinating even more because you don't know where to start your homework. So do your homework as soon as possible and revise it before your next class, so whenever your teacher will have a look at it, or maybe if you're taking notes of it in class or marking it or whatever, and you're getting asked questions, you know what you did, you know what you're talking about, you know how to answer, and you know what you're doing because you had a look at what you did, if that makes sense. Try your best to like how can I say, like before every lesson, let's say if it's your first lesson, right, and you've been taught content or whatever, make sure like you look through the content, read through it the day, I don't know, the hour after or the evening after school, read through it, have a look at it. Then before the next class you have for that subject, read the content again, go through it again. If your teacher asks you questions about that topic, you're able to answer it properly because you've gone through it a few times. And whenever you have your test, it's going to be way easier for you to like prepare for it because there's less workload because you familiarize yourself with the content beforehand. So just take note of that. You need to you must not miss any deadlines, because when you go back to school, I know like it's really, really crucial to have the validation of your teachers. And if you miss deadlines, that is the easiest way, the quickest way to like lose the validation, you know, that you need from your teachers. And I know like you should never like depend your worth on your grades or how your teachers treat you. However, for back to school season and to radiate confidence and be confident whilst at school, you need to perform well. If you look at your grades, you see you're doing good, that's going to boost your self-esteem. No one can like look at you and make fun of you and be like, oh, they're dumb anyways, because you're not dumb and your grades show it regardless of anything. So it's really crucial for you to never miss your deadlines and actually seek academic validation. Academic validation never determines your worth, but you need to care about it to some extent. So through never missing deadlines, making sure that your homework is meeting a good standard, and making sure you have a good rapport with your teachers. Again, you have to have a good rapport with your teachers because they are there for you. They are employed because of you. And without students like you, they wouldn't have a job. You have to bear this in mind. So never be scared to ask them for any questions, because the more questions you also ask them, the more they will like you. They'll be like, oh, this student actually cares about my subjects, they care about doing well, and they start liking you. So whenever like you have a question or you need to pause, even for the silliest thing, they'll be there for you. They'll actually be there for you with a smile on their face to support you, because you've showed interest, you've showed that you have the work ethic, and you put the work on your own part. So there's no reason for them to like not help you. Don't be scared of them. Trust me, don't be scared of them. And I know that there's no favoritism. Everyone are like, oh, I don't have a favorite students. Trust me, they don't, but they do. If they don't like you, you will know. And if they like you, you will feel it. So I feel like when teachers say that they don't have a favorite students, that's kind of a lie, because it kind of shows in the classroom, and you need to use that and use that in your advantage by the littlest things. And everything your teacher tells you to do it ASAP. If they tell you or they suggest to do something, let's say like they give you extra papers for extra revision, but it's not compulsory, just do it. Just do it, because there's going to be extra preparation. They might even ask questions about that in your lesson, and if you know the answer, that makes you feel more confident. And if you give out the answers, I know the person next to you will be like, oh, she's so damn annoying, but you, on the other hand, you're like, you feel confident, you're prepared, your teacher is actually impressed, and they admire you for your effort. So really build a good rapport with your teachers. Be a good student, guys. Be a good student. It really takes you a long way, because it really opens doors, like with your teacher, with different stuff. So whenever you're in lesson, obviously I mentioned like to partake in lessons, but also like your body posture and things, the littlest things really matter. So make sure your attitude, your approach is really positive. Your body language, like you're sat down facing the board, attentive, ready to learn. If your teacher tells you to not fiddle with the keyboard, don't fiddle with the keyboard. If they tell you to look at them, don't hesitate. As soon as they say it, show that you're actually practicing active listening. Yeah, when it's the first day of school, actually, most students find it more comfortable to like not sit in the front. And you've probably seen videos where people are like, oh, sit at the front row, and you should sit at the front row, because that's first off encourages you to be like engaged in the lesson. Then on top of being engaged in the lesson, like your teacher sees that you're not scared to talk to them, and through sitting in the front row, all the things I mentioned above is way much easier. So yeah, remember to sit in the front row so you can really partake in the lesson. So my next tip goes around leveling up your looks, being always put together and taking care of yourself. We all know that it's really crucial to look good, because when you look good, you feel good. And this is really crucial also in the school environment, especially when like the school air really has a strong effect on people. And I feel like because of that, that's the reason why you should put a tiny bit more effort just to take care of yourself. Make sure like you're not you're not abandoning yourself. Make sure your clothes as well, they're very important, because how you dress really expresses your identity, your personality, and who you are. And just how you dress and how you look really attracts people. Some people just approach you because they really like your outfit or your makeup or your hair. So make sure that you really have a look at these things, take care of them, be patient, curate this stuff, because it really helps your social reputation and your social experience. You don't even have to do like a full face of makeup every day. If you're that girl, then period, go on, do your thing. If you're not that girl, just take care of yourself. Like make sure at least like your lashes are well taken care of. You don't have to have falsies. You can use lash serum to grow your lashes, the littlest things, you know what I mean? You can have your lip liner, your lip gloss done, your hair taken care of. Never ever go out like not well taken care of. Make sure you don't stink whilst you're at school, because that's also like, you know, that pushes people away. No one really wants to like hug someone that doesn't smell nice. Have a really close look at these things, like your lashes, your nails, your hair, because when people look at you also and approach you, they'll see how you take care of yourself. They'll see the effort and attention you put in yourself, the time you invest in yourself, and that commands respect to some extent. The way you take care of yourself really reflects how you feel of yourself. So someone is more likely to approach you accordingly, treat you better, be kinder or more polite, because they see that from how you dress, that you hold yourself up to a certain standard. So they're not just gonna treat you anyhow. And I know that some people might argue that this is superficial, but in a world where superficiality really determines a lot, you have to do whatever it takes. Human beings are visual creatures. What we see is what we want. Like if we see something good, we'll always appreciate it, we'll always recognize it. So you have no choice but to invest in that and make sure that your appearance actually looks good and it's inviting. If you don't like how something of looks, then find a way to improve it, find a way to change it, find a way to adapt it, and practice self-love, because your face will never look like someone else's face. I've mentioned this on another video. Your face, you will never be like someone else. You have to take your strong points and reinforce those and enhance those, because let's say with a makeup routine, you can't change your features, but you can use a makeup routine to like reinforce your features that are already there. When you go back to school, I feel like burnout is something, burnout is something that you can't 100% prevent, because it happens to everybody. In exam season, like I feel like back to school, you have to bear in mind that you'll have that exam season and you will most likely have burnout, especially when you're like really trying hard to get really good grades. Classmate that's a really high performing classmate, they really do well, and you know, you really wish like that could be you. It's really important for you to not like use that situation against you. You know what I mean? Like, don't use a situation like that to play yourself or belittle yourself, because in the end of the day, like your classmate might be better than you in a couple of things, and that's perfectly fine. But you have to remember that there's so many skills that you're like very, very good at. There's so many things that only you can do, even in the academic setting. So if you really have to, like, I would also advise like take a notepad or whatever and write down the skills that you have, your strengths, like all the strengths you have, and use that as a reminder whenever like you feel incapable or you feel sad or down or whatever because of your academic performance. Look at the strengths of yours and remind yourself that I actually have these skills, and these skills are profitable, and I can use the skills to leverage my academic performance. So don't downplay yourself, and there'll always be moments when you feel low, especially when you're really trying hard academically, like you really want to do well. And honestly, like that's also a reason why you should respect yourself and love yourself, because if you care that much, you know, that's already something that I believe at least that must be respected. Yeah, so the previous tip also links with this tip that I'm also trying to share with you. But like at school and these type of like, you know, when comparison happens and stuff, or you make mistakes, or your peer knows a certain topic or whatever better than you, or you did bad on a test, don't use your mistakes to like punish yourself. Use those mistakes instead as like a leverage and as an opportunity to learn. This is why I'm like such an advocate for like this mindset, because like you have to remember that you're at school, because that's a place to learn. If you already know everything that's meant to be taught, that you're being taught at school, if you know that before even starting school, then what's the point of you being there to start with? You're a student. The reason why you're a student is because you're there to learn new things, and in the process of learning there will always be mistakes. Mistakes are fine. That's why like you have to, let's say, practice a question a couple of times to know what the question is asking you, and that's not a reason to punish yourself. You can't know everything perfectly well straight away, and don't be too hard on yourself. Don't be too harsh on yourself. Like, take time to improve. Use your mistakes to learn. Use your mistakes to improve. If you have an answer that you maybe scored a 0 on, then read whatever feedback your teacher gave you and use that to improve. Like, what did my teacher say? Oh, I need to answer this question along these lines. Oh, I need to do this differently. And if your teacher didn't give you a solid feedback, literally walk up to them, tell them, look, I scored poorly on this question and I really want to improve it. Do you have any advice you would share with me so I could do this better and I can't make a mistake like this again? Answer this question better the next time. And nine times out of time, the teacher will really be happy that you went out of your way to approach them and ask them a question like that. Because many students are scared to approach their teachers. Like I mentioned previously, they're really scared of approaching the teachers. So because of that, they never approach the teacher and ask them questions. But for the fact that you're confident enough to approach your teacher and ask them that question, they'll also respect you so much. And this again goes, links with confidence. Like if you're in school, even when you make mistakes, you have to be confident. Listen, a mistake shouldn't be a reason for you to be insecure. Like own up with your mistakes and losses the same way you own up with your wins. Does that make sense? Because a winner won't always win all the time. There's always like something you build up. There's always somewhere you started. Your day, like I said, your day 10 of trying hard and working hard consistently won't be like the first day you tried. The grades you had like last year when you didn't have the right study method won't be the same as the grades you get after having a solid study method with consistent routine. Don't see mistakes as something to be ashamed of. Don't use mistakes to punish yourself, but use them as a leverage to improve and do better. I mentioned previously that you must be comfortable out of your comfort zone. And the next tip I'm going to give you is really similar to it, but you need to talk to everybody. Everybody from your classmates to the person that smiles at you, to the librarian, to the kitchen staff, to even the principal, the vice principal, safeguarding. Everybody, talk to them. Your teachers, talk to them, because conversations are always nice to have. Through good conversations, you build a good reputation, you make a name for yourself, you are more confident because you've spoken to someone new. And sometimes you really take out very, very good stories of really good lessons from the conversation you have had with people. So never be shy, like actually speak to everybody. Sometimes like someone, like as I mentioned, like people want to be approached, people want to have a conversation with someone. And if you are that person who took some time out of their day to have a conversation with them, trust me, they will never forget you. The next day they'll see you, they wave at you, they'll say hi, you'll become friends, you'll speak again, you'll become, social, like you become familiar with each other. As I mentioned previously, like for example, your teachers, talk to them, just be friendly with them, be kind with them, build a rapport with them, because obviously that's going to take you way further than you even expected. They might help you even with non-academical stuff. They could help you with like a job or employment, like I don't know, like the things your teachers can help you with if they really like you. And what it only takes is you to communicate with them. As long as you communicate with them, there's so many opportunities available. But if you don't talk to people and if you restrict yourself from communication with people, then you are actually like barricading yourself from really, really important opportunities. So talk to everyone, talk to as many people as you can, even if it's just a hi, even if you don't even have to talk, you can wave, you can smile, you can make eye contact, you can make a facial expression. Like those little non-verbal communication things like really make a small impact. Like you could just smile at someone and they literally approach you and compliment you. And from there, you sit down in canteen and have a long conversation. You make a new friend, or you go to libraries together. So never be shy. Don't be scared of talking to people, because people deep down, they really want to have a conversation with someone. And if you're this person, like I mentioned, if you are that person who actually like approach them and have a conversation with them, literally like you might have been that person that made that day. You know what I mean? There's so many people that I've actually like approached and they told me that, look, you made my day. Like you spoke to me. I was actually looking forward to speak to you. You know what I mean? And that's really, I don't know, like that puts a smile on your face. That's put a smile on that face, and everyone is happy. To me, it's a win-win situation. Is to really practice good organization skills. Especially like, because when you're being taught content at the start of school, like it doesn't seem like much, it doesn't seem like too much, you know, and you're like, oh, I don't need to sort out my stuff that much. I don't need a folder, I don't need dividers, I don't need a notepad that's sorted or whatever. But like when things really start stacking up really quick, then that's when you start being overwhelmed and you don't know what to do. You're actually ashamed to in some cases you could be ashamed to bring out your notepad in class because it's really bad. Good organization really helps your confidence when you're preparing for exams. Like, you're not shy to answer questions in class because your notes are sorted, you know where to find the answers. Or when you're revising, you know where you put the sections and subtopics and everything. So really make sure that you take your time with your organization, because it's not just about making your notes look pretty. Like, where you put your notes at, like, it's really important. The colors you use to coordinate your folders is really important. The little files, the clear wallets you use, the colors of pen you use when you're taking notes, because even the colors, like, we, as I mentioned, we are visual creatures. Colors really communicate a lot with us, and through using different colors on a page, it makes it so easy for you to like take content, revise content, you know, learn from it, and you won't be bored of the content you are reading. And as I was mentioning, like, you're not going to spend too much time trying to find where you left your notes, because everything's well organized. You know where to find what, you know where to expect your stuff to be. Last tip is to take care of yourself. The more you take care of yourself, the more it's boosting your confidence. So set a routine you stick to. A routine will really help you in the long run. Make sure you are well rested. It's not easy, especially when like maybe you want to pull all-nighters to revise and stuff, but that is why you must be consistent, literally from the get-go, from the start. So at the end, like when you're progressing in, you know, you're not overwhelmed. Exam season won't scare you as much because you know what you're doing, you know your routine, you've set your routine, and you have been consistent. Consistency is actually a form of self-care. If you actually think about it, it is a form of self-care. And since going back to school, like, I believe that being like confidence really radiates from inside. So what you do behind closed doors will really reflects in the outside world. So take your time to build a solid routine. Make sure that you are always well rested. Take care of yourself. Make sure you rest. Make sure you set a routine. Make sure that sometimes like you have a day for yourself, maybe a Saturday or whatever, that you go out with your friends, or you just want to chill like in your bed or whatever. You want to go swimming. Guys, take advantage of that time, especially like, because time flies. Sometimes like you reach the point from, you know, from going to school, you might be having a job, then from having a job you'll have another job, and from that you go back to studying, and before you know it, you're done with your education and now you're in a full-time employment. So you never really have time for yourself. So make sure that you actually like put your foot down, take that time for yourself, take care of yourself. And I think, guys, that is it for today. Remember to also check out my socials. I also use Instagram and TikTok. They all have my same username as my YouTube channel. And that is it. Guys, take good care of yourself and don't be scared. You radiate the confidence that you need to radiate, and you actually build that confidence beforehand for back to school season. And that is it. I love you so much, and bye.